guys, so first things first, I'm gonna set in my duck clips just to get the hair out of the way. You don't want to be cutting, worrying about the hair laying over and trying to cut while the hair is down. So you want to grab some duck clips and just get the hair out of the way and brush everything down. Make sure everything's laid. That way your haircut will come out more neat. Also in the front, I'm gonna pin it up just so that I can lay those baby hairs down in the front. But I do want to apologize to you guys by not having an intro to this video. I know some of you guys look forward to it, and the reason why I didn't, because this video is already going to be way too long because I'm doing the full length. I just wanted to give you guys as much value as I can out of this tutorial. So right now, I'm gonna set in my bald line using my wall cordless detailers, and as you notice, I'm setting in the bald line very carefully using my corners, and I'm being real strategic and neat about how I set this line in. Now I want to kind of keep that curve area darker, so that's why I kind of went down and I'm working my way towards the back the way I did. Now I'm making sure I'm very precise, as almost as if I'm setting in like a design of a bald line, you know what I mean? So I'm just making sure everything is even. I'm gonna double check my work, and I'm gonna just drop that line right back down just as I did on the other side. That way both sides can match up real nice. Everything can look proportioned, and that's how the finished look is gonna be. The finished look is gonna, if you start off neat, if you start off precise, then that's how your fades will come out. If you start off sloppy and you don't care about how that bald line look, chances are you're not gonna care about the next guideline and the next guideline, you know what I mean? So make sure you start off, make sure everything is neat and even, and that's how your fade will come out. I'm gonna use my Babyliss Gold Effect shavers, and I'm gonna just kind of shave the bottom half razor bald. That's what is basically getting it. I'm not going all the way up to the line because you don't want to set in a harsh guideline. By going all the way up to that line, it's gonna make it real difficult for you to take out that bottom line. So make sure you leave a 1/4 inch of space where you set in your bald line using your wall cordless detailers. So now, using my Babyliss Red FX with the lever open, I'm going up about a 1/2 inch, but notice how I'm leaving some room by the C-cup area. I'm not gonna take off hair in that area, because I kind of want to keep it dark so that when I throw that line in, it can really stand out. So I'm just gonna make sure that I keep this guideline very neat and that I go over it multiple times to get it to that lever open length. Now when it comes to the back of the head, I like to stretch my guideline just a little bit more, because it's something about the back of the head that, if you set the guidelines the same as the side, it'll look real shorter, You know what I mean? The blend will look real tight in the back. So I like to stretch out the blend, stretch out my guideline so that the hair could look more blended in the back. So right here, notice how I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna go right to the right side, just like I did on the left side, and basically start setting my guideline in just like I did on that left side. So you really want to pay attention to how you set your guidelines in, because if you was to go all the way through, it's gonna look weird. You want to make sure you keep that consistent. How you start on one side is how you start on the other side. That way everything can come out even, and it won't look not proportioned. Putting on the one guard with the lever open, I'm going up about a half an inch, but this time, like I said, I'm gonna take down that C-cup area with the one guard. I'm probably not gonna go any lower than that. I just want that area dark, but I'm going up about a half inch, making sure that I go over it multiple times. That way I can get it to that one guard length. And I'm just gonna keep it consistent all the way through, making sure that I go a little bit higher in the back. Don't want you guys to forget about that, but everything is basically the same thing, all right? You wanna stay consistent as much as possible. Like I said, you wanna stop at a certain point, and then, the same way you set a guideline in on one side, do the same exact thing on the other side. Now with the two guard open, same thing. I'm gonna run my clippers straight up. I'm not gonna dig in. I'm gonna leave that area at the top a little bit darker just to keep some of that bulk in that area. What I'm trying to do right now is not necessarily set a guideline in. It's just trying to blend everything in, because it's basically already a 2 on top anyway. It's about a 3 or a 2.5. So I'm just going straight up, clearing out some of that bulk. But what I want you guys to pay attention to is hair growth pattern. All right, see how I'm turning the clipper, because the hair grows in a way that's like sideways. So you want to make sure you're cutting against that grain. Don't just go straight up thinking that the hair all falls down. Some hair growth pattern, it turns a little bit, so you want to cut in that hair growth pattern. Now I'm gonna put back on the one guard open, and I'm just gonna flick out the bulk that I see at the top. Now, the flick out motion is different than setting in a guideline. Notice how it's like a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. It's kind of like I'm rolling off of the head real quick. The best way I could describe it is like when you have a piece of paper and you kind of run that pencil across it real fast, you kind of get that fade effect instead of just like setting the pencil on the paper and just dragging it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a harsh, you'll see like a harsh line rather than a fade effect. That's the kind of effect that you want to use when fading. Using the zero guard with the lever closed, in a flick out motion, you're flicking out that middle line. Now keep in mind, my thought process is when I'm flicking out that middle line is that I'm not trying to necessarily bring the fade up. I'm trying to break every individual hair. Like, I don't want to get rid of the line. It's more like using this as a thinning shear to get every other hair. But the best thing I can tell you guys is to start below the line and flick to the line. You don't want to bring that fade up at all. You just want to break the line. These last two steps will probably be the longest step that you're gonna take, because it takes patience. It takes you working at it. You want to use your corners as much as possible in small tight areas, because you don't want to risk taking hair off on that other side of the blade that you might not want it to take off. So it's okay if you use your corners throughout this whole process. Also, don't be confined to just the lever close. You know what I mean? You could open the lever as needed. You know, if you're going up a little bit, open up that lever. If you're going down and you need to, you know, blend in that line a little bit more, close the lever. Don't just sit there, and if you don't see anything being cut, don't just sit there for a long time and just, you know, have that lever at the same place. Open and adjust your lever. If you hear the hair being cut, the smartest thing you can do is hear the hair being cut. If you're not hearing anything, then just kind of adjust your lever. Now with the lever closed in a flick out motion, notice how I'm using my corners right around that C-cup area. I'm not gonna just, you know, use that full blade, because like I don't want to take off more on one side than I want. So I'm just gonna use my corners and just flick out a little bit and adjust my levers as I go. So detail work is what's gonna separate you from most barbers. All right, the attention to detail that you put in, you want to just take a second to just look away from the blend, relax your eyes, look in the mirror, do things that allows you to see things in a different light. Take out your phone, look through your phone camera. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways that you can notice those details, notice those bulk areas, and fix the problem. The worst thing you could do is just do these steps and just think that the steps is gonna, you know what I mean? The steps is it, and that's all you need to do. Go above and beyond and do some detail work. So right now what I'm doing is I'm brushing down the baby hairs in the front. I'm gonna cut it down with my one guard closed, and you know, I'm just gonna cut it down the best as I can. Use those duck clips to you know, pull back the rest of the hair as I, you know, glide the clipper down. This is me just bringing down that hair to a length where it will make the lineup, you know, stand out. Also, you might want to throw some spritz on there to lock it down. That way the hair won't move when you're using your liners. Now, as far as the lineup goes, I like to start in the middle. I necessarily don't start in the middle. I do the corners first, but when I'm doing these tutorials, I like to show you guys, you know, everything that I'm doing, because if I line up the sidebars first, you know, it would throw me off recording this haircut. So I like to start from the middle. I like to first visualize what the lineup is gonna look like before I actually set in the line. And then I just, you know, there's no easy way to line someone up. All right, it's art at this point. You know what I mean? It's someone can tell you how to do a lineup, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's comfortable for you. I remember when I was in barber school, and I'm speaking for this particular area, lining up his left side. I used to struggle with using my left hand, and I always used to be uncomfortable lining with my right hand. I'll be in a position to be like real out of place. So I just practice on using my left hand. All right, if you're in barber school, practice on using your left hand. There's no, you have no. You're in school, so it's like you have all the opportunity to practice and to mess up and just do your dirty work there, right? So I practiced when I was in school, and I'm telling you, I use my left hand like it's my right hand now when it comes to cutting hair. But like I said, there's no easy way to explain to you guys how to line somebody up. It's just basically putting your art on someone's head, what you visualize and what you see. You know what I mean? The best thing you could do is keep it safe. You know, don't push your client back. Keep it natural as possible. And but if you're a little experienced, then you could kind of bend the line of how far you need to go back to make it your own style. Now, as far as how I'm spraying my enhancements, there's a particular way that I spray it. I don't spray it dead on. Like if you're in front of your client, you don't hold the gun dead straight on your client. You hold it at an angle. That way, it allows the spray to miss the top of the head or either the side of the head. You don't want to spray it dead on. Then it doesn't bring that fade effect to it. It kind of just has that, if you just drop some water on a piece of paper, you know what I mean? It splats, but if you kind of hold the paper sideways and glide the water across the piece of paper, it's gonna smear and fade, I'm just saying, all right, just don't be dead on when you're spraying this stuff. It won't bring that blend effect that you're looking for. Now, as far as using the razor, the best thing I can do is tell you guys to stretch out the skin. Okay, lay the blade flat and just go for it, man. That's when I was in barber school. I was timid on really using the blade. I was super scared, but really, it's just about stretching out that skin and just gliding that blade across the skin. That's all it is. And if there's hangups, that's the hair being cut. Don't be so like, oh snap, it's a snag. You know what I mean? Because that's my fear. You know what I mean? That I was gonna cut somebody. But as long as I glide it and stretch the skin, the hairs is just gonna fall right off. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you like the beat, HustleDreamProduction, that's my brother, he does all my beats. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. Also, if you want to know where you can find any tools that you've seen in this video, the links will be in the description below as well. Otherwise, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. My Snapchat is Jeezy360 and my Instagram is 360Jeezy. But it's your boy 360Jeezy, and I'm out of here. Cheers.